Hi Hams, this is Kevin AD0IM. I am out at Hillsdale Lake, or Hillsdale State Park, oddly enough near Hillsdale, Kansas. I've been out here a bunch of times before and operated, but not really very much this summer. It's a little buggy here. The shelters, I'm not going to try and show them to you, they probably won't show up, are full of mud dauber nests, so I don't really come out here that much. The mud daubers appear to have left for the season already. As I record this, it is Friday, September 13th. And the real point of this video is going to be to talk about this tripod that I'm using as my dipole mast. Let's see how this works out. So this is a lighting tripod. I got it on Amazon. There'll be a link in the description of the video. It's made by Flashpoint. I just walked through a spider web back there. And the reason I like this, because if you have seen any of my other videos, you know that I was a fan of using a painter's pole for my 20-meter dipole. And that worked really well. The dipole doesn't need to be terribly high off the ground. The painter's pole that I was using got the feed point up about 12 or 13 feet. This tripod does the same thing, but it's only in one piece. A lot of painter's poles or extension poles, they have to have a support. So I would have to carry a support and the pole. With this particular device, I only have to carry the tripod with me. Now I'm not a hiker, so that's not a factor. It's just one less thing to have to throw in the car. And it's a lot lighter than the other setup was too. Not to mention, I don't drive a pickup truck anymore. And the painter's pole was just too long, even fully collapsed, to fit nicely inside the new car. So this device fits in the car exactly just right, and I don't have any issues with it. So I'm going to get the antenna set up here, and then I'll walk you through some more of the finer points. Okay, so Joe and I have got the antenna set up on the lighting tripod here. I'm using about a foot of the bottom section, and then the top two sections are fully extended. Now with an inverted V dipole, it's important to remember that these two elements have to be at least 90 degrees apart. All right. So the easiest way to check that is to hold a piece of paper up to it and see if there's any space between the edges of the paper and the wires. So I haven't done that here because I've set it up a bunch of times. But anyway, so that's the idea. So the other thing that I like about this mast, is what I'm going to start calling it, is that you can operate and raise it and lower it from the bottom. So if you're not tall enough to reach that top joint on a painter's pole dipole, then that's kind of or on a painter's pole, that's kind of annoying to deal with. But this thing, you can raise it and lower it from right where Joe is, or even lower it. So you can always reach it to put your antenna on and attach your coax and do that kind of stuff before you raise it. The antenna itself is just a 20-meter dipole cut for the Morse code part of the band. It's a little loose here, but it'll be fine. And it's using colored wire, high-vis wire from DX Engineering. So highly recommend that. Here are the garden stakes that I'm using to secure each end. Now there's one drawback with this tripod, and that is that it's very lightweight. So as you're pulling these elements down to stake them, it's really easy to pull this thing over. So that's why my dipole ends up a little loose, is that I don't feel like lifting the tripod off the ground 2 or 3 times, trying to get it just right. So there it is. Try and do some operating now, get some contacts, and I'll get with you after I'm done and tell you how I did. So there it is. Joe, I think it's time to get back to the radio and get to work. Okay, the activation's over. I haven't packed up yet, but I just wanted to take a minute and tell you how it went and what my setup was today. My setup is pretty consistent. Um, I'm an FT891 guy. I don't really play with QRP that much. I do have a couple of rigs, but I don't get them out. I just don't enjoy it. Sorry, guys. Um, I used a 3D printed key from C.W. Morse that does pretty well. I'm looking for something a little more solid right now, but just about any key worth a damn is about $200, so not really in a hurry to dive into that. I use an old HP laptop to log on. Hammers is my logging app. Um, my battery is a Bioenno 20 amp hour, and it's in a PowerWorks battery box. And of course the antenna is the inverted V 20 meter dipole on the 13-foot lighting tripod I talked about earlier. And it got really windy this afternoon. And I don't like using headphones when I operate. And all my contacts are Morse code. So got a little hard to hear some of those guys. But I got them all in and everything's good. So you can see the wind knocking my Air Force flag around here. So yeah, it turned out to be kind of a breezy day. But Joe is still hanging on there, so can't be too bad. So anyway, 50 something pretty easy contacts, no huge pileups, just steady work, a couple contacts here and there for about an hour, and it all went really well. So I'll give you a view of the lake here at Hillsdale Lake, and then we'll say 73, and try and catch up with you guys again real soon. Bye-bye.